I wanted to add something, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I am going to different planets every night, and I'm there. It's lucid. I'm interacting with the beings. At one point, I say, I've got to get back to my body. I have to pee. How do I get back home? And then something happens. I'm back there because you got to take care of the body. And so Stewart, have you encountered people like me? I'm some kind of ambassador. I found myself in meetings with over 100,000 unique different beings. They were all bipedal with forward eyes and legs, and they said, well, we're only showing you a sample of there are just millions of beings in the whole cosmos, and these are only the ones that you, the Janet human avatar, are comfortable with. Otherwise, you wouldn't be comfortable, so we're showing you these. And so I gave a report of what it was like to be a human female in 21st century America, and I basically said, help, do some intervention. Anyway, have you encountered anybody that's like an ambassador and doing this type of stuff? Because I've had contact since the crib. I came in conscious, and I was saying too much to my mother, and she was trying to kill me, so they toned me down so I wouldn't say too much, so I could still be here.
Yeah, yes, of course. In my work, I come across this a lot. Now I have to qualify it here because there are some people that I come across where some of this is in mind control and programming, which comes from the virtual reality of their back alter matrix. So in order to test that, when you get these experiences, first of all, you need to use the ground merger symbol, which I have in my books, to see if it's programming or not, and use the color pale orange, which is the color of absolute truth. So when you have these experiences and you flood what you're seeing in pale orange, if it stays in the pale orange, then it's true. If the color changes, then it's probably a programming image that's being projected to you. So that's how I teach people to test their information.
Okay.
But yes, absolutely, there are many people who their soul personalities are not from here. I always said that I was like that as well. I know my history and both on this world and not on this world. And so it's each individual must find out who and what they are and what their function is, because we're coming to a point where it's very critical. And the people who know the truth and who are operating at a higher level, they're going to have to show people what's true and what's not true, what's programming and and so on. So we're coming to a very critical point, and I think that's why all of this now is coming out in your show and the conference and so on. This is very, very important time period, and I hope that people listening will have an open mind and look at different perspectives than perhaps what they've already been used to.
Well, I know I open up every day. I learn something new every day that maybe I do or don't want to put in my 3D world, but I'm trying to do the best I can. I am doing the best I can to be a balanced human being because I have to deal with my daughter with cancer, and they already told her she's not white, she's other, and they're trying to get rid of the cancer gene, and that was her job, mission to come to planet Earth and serve. But, we're dealing with major problems, so we try to be useful with this radio show. But I don't want to bring more fear or fear porn or making people where, we're scared because of what they're saying. And people already say, when my daughters, she'll say, my mom's got a radio show. Another one, I've got 4 daughters. But, when people in business here, because I'm an entrepreneur and running a company here with a radio show, but then they'll say, well, what does your mama talk about on the radio? And then she doesn't know how to answer it because I have a paranormal extraterrestrial, my show's TJMRCT radio. So it becomes complicated after that. And I can't fix that because that's what I'm attracted to. And Janet and I are building Stargate-to-the-Cosmos with Tommy Hawk's blood. So, other people are working to build this. So, Stuart, what made you decide to be affirmative towards the meme or term or name Stargate-to-the-cosmos. We've been putting it on YouTubes and putting it on radio shows for years, but I'm just now meeting you. I guess the time is right in the airwaves. But what brought you to this?
Well, first of all, where you've been, Theresa? I've been out there a long time. Janet. No, I had known Janet for umpteen years. I can't even remember how long ago it's been, Janet.
I think around 2004 or 5 we met. Yeah, it's been years. Yeah.
But I think we've been in contact before that, actually.
Yeah, we were.
So I'll tell you. You know, after all, well, I'll just say it. You know, quite honestly, I come from a family ancestry that's not so pleasant. My great uncle was a Soviet dictator. He murdered over 1 million people. My great uncle created mind control and programming in the Soviet Union. My grandfather was the one who created communism in the UK and United States. So I have a very heavy karmic burden, if you will, that I came into this world with to clear out. In addition to all of that, I was involved in the Montauk Project for 13 years and so on. And so I feel my obligation to humanity, to God, you know, to all of creation, to do what I have to do or what I should do to correct the negativity and the injustices that have been perpetrated on the people of this planet since time began. And so I also have an obligation, because of my experiences, to explain the difference between the programming and mind control aspects versus the God mind natural events and occurrences. And so time is short. We are now in what is called end-time programming, which means the Illuminati have activated all the functions related to the end times activities, which is connected to the script of the Book of Revelation, because the Book of Revelation was written by the Piso family in 300 AD under the auspices of the Illuminati to create a global empire. And so it is something that we must undo. We must tell people the truth, and of course we can't force it on people. All we could do is say what we know, and people can either accept it or reject it. Not everyone is going to be saved. Not everyone is going to believe. There's going to be a lot of death and destruction, and I understand, Theresa, especially what you say about the doom and gloom sayers and all of this. But you can't paint a pretty picture when there's an ugly picture out there. First, you got to get rid of the ugly picture, and then you can put the pretty picture on there. So if people don't want to hear about the doom and gloom and the terrible things that are about to happen, well, I'm very sorry about that. But when you have a clogged up, dirty toilet, you got to look at the crap in there and clean it out before you can fix the toilet. You know, that's just the way it is. So I don't make any apologies for the things that I say, because it is what it is. And we must recognize the dirt so we can see it and clean it. And then we can move forward in a more positive direction.
Well, do you feel like a lot of the past lives that we in my business I used to be a psychic reader at all the bookstores in Hawaii, on Oahu when I was there, even though I was in the military. I did readings for people, and then I'd been doing readings, and I've just sort of stopped because it's so hard, to help other people with their stuff, and even my daughters, because these days it's so hard to know what's going on, and they want to know. And if you connect to them and read their minds or just know what they're thinking, I don't know how you would say that, or just their energy, however, because there's so many people doing that. But people want to know about their loved ones on their side, like Theresa Caputo. They compare me with her, and I'm nothing. We're none of us are exactly alike. But anyway, but you understand psychic medium work, I'm sure. But all that, do you think that's important to this reality and this cause? Because apparently the government thinks there's something to it, because I wouldn't be I wouldn't have done anything. I wouldn't have gone out of country. I wouldn't have been an investigator. You know, I've died a couple of times, but I put all this together myself, although I have tried to sort of thumb through, was it Sandra Brown? You know, I had Ruth Montgomery book, and Ruth Montgomery, I wrote to her. I wrote to Leo Sprinkle, and then, you know who the Brown, is it Sandra Brown? Sylvia Brown?
Sylvia Brown.
Yes, I was.
Silver Brown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Wayne Dyer. I read Wayne Dyer's stuff, things like that. But I'm not very. I didn't even know who you were, other than I channeled you one night, and I didn't know. And Janet knew exactly who you were, and told me about Janet and you. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why that happened. What?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Come over there. Theresa.
What's that?
I don't understand.
I said, don't make you come over there.
Yes,
don't make you come over at the Gulf Breeze. It's beautiful here. It's blue water, sandy white beach. You can stay at the Best Western.
Stuart, we're actually...
Now hold on.
Go ahead. You talk, and then I'll talk. Go ahead.
No, because I'm going to tell you something about the Gulf of Mexico. It's completely polluted and contaminated with the corrosive poison that they put there after the BP oil spill. So I will strongly recommend you do not go in that water, nor should you eat any sea life that comes out of that water, because it's poison. And I'm just going to say that categorically. You know, unfortunately, that's the truth. They destroy.
How long has it been since that my daughter worked on the beaches? One of them. Remember, I've got 4, but Stephanie worked and got a paycheck. Well, you know, many people had to help clean up stuff. You know, the beach and stuff. But so I don't remember how long ago that was, but I guess I'm guided here because of my children, because my husband wanted me to live near my children when he passed over December 2nd, 2015. So I moved down here, and so I've only been here a couple of years. But I went in the ocean when I first got here, and something got on my feet and made little long strips. And so I really haven't been in there since. I went to the hospital.
Good idea.
It's like Hawaii. People in the ocean, they come here and they go in the water. So maybe it's a positive thing. If you believe you won't be hurt, you won't be. I don't know. Why do you believe in all that positive stuff? Do you believe you can control your destiny?
Yeah, let him talk.
If you're standing there and you believe you're going to be dry, and I throw a bucket of water on you, whether you believe it or not, you're going to get wet. So
you think? Okay.
So if you
how far does that go?
Mexico, well, I'm just telling you that if you go in the Gulf of Mexico, you're risking your health because it is filled with poison. And I was also going to say that they have disrupted the tectonic plate underneath the Gulf of Mexico. And I monitor the USGS on a daily basis, and there have already been significant earthquakes off the coast of the Panhandle, Louisiana, even eastern Texas, and that's going to continue until there's going to be a lot of problems. So I'm just advising you, stay away from the water there and don't eat anything from it because it's completely toxic.
Well, what about where Janet is? They've got a volcano and earthquakes daily. And Tommy's on here right now, Janet.
Stuart's been wanting me to move out of there for a long time, but go ahead, Stewart. What about Hawaii?
So Janet knows that when I was in Maui and I did the seminar in her place, everyone was mad at me because I said, listen, people, there's going to be volcanic eruptions. It's not going to be, oh, no, it's paradise, blah, blah, blah. Well, here we are 18 years later, and everything I said is coming true. And I'm going to even tell Janet, because from Janet's window, you can see the Haleakala volcano, and that is also filling up with magma, and it's going to it's happening. What can I say?
Well, apparently the fracking didn't help. They had a geothermal plant, and they were fracking, and they had this crazy idea about. So I think there's some kind of government interference to accelerate this process, which might be natural, might have occurred, in 100 years, but this thing blew up, and it seems to be accelerated. What are your thoughts on that, Stewart? Do you have any insight?
Yes, yes, and I can tell you that what has already come out of the